Welcome back to my episode number 3, for Java Core and Collections. We Let me summarize what we did last two episodes. That we went through this diagram. We observed that collections is not just some classes like concrete classes. It is having interfaces, and some classes implements those interfaces, and some extends those interfaces. That's the kind of thing we saw. We also saw that we we can use concrete classes for filling up the values in the collections. We also saw that we can use interfaces. Here we use concrete classes, and then we used interfaces, which is here. And we also realized that the what is the advantage of using interfaces. Today, today we're going to learn about vector. Let's take a vector example. Uh, you know, to see the class, right? And let's try a vector collection today. Now what you see is I'm declaring a vector class here, just adding the vector class. I'm putting the vector class as type integer, then adding numbers to that. I can do this also and add strings instead of integers. Then just add names inside this. And then I can say Ramesh, Shalini, and so on, right? I'm just adding three, you know, names to this vector, and the second size and the second vector, second name, I'm trying to remove that. Let's see whether we will be able to execute this. So this is my example. File this now. Compile this and run this. Okay. So the vector initially added Anil, Ramesh, Shalini. The size of the vector was 3. Then what I did is element 2, I removed Ramesh, Shalini. Now I have only Anil and Ramesh. Then what I did is that the last I just cleared the vector. That's fine, nothing is there inside. So remember that it always starts from 0. That's why when I said 2, it removed Shalini. But now the question comes is, okay, we can do one more thing is, if I don't specify this, right, will it take this as a string? That's the question. Is the default parameterization of this one string? Does it allow? Let's execute that and see. Yeah, it is doing that. Now the question comes here is, this is working just like a list, where we used the array list here, the first example. It's just working like that, right? There's no difference between that and this. Why should you need vector? Why not list? This is the bigger question, right? So generally what happens is, when you use a vector, this class is built in such a way that only one thread can operate at a time on this collection, not more than one. That's why this is called a synchronized. So now let's find out what exactly documentation says of vector. So ArrayList is not synchronized, vector is synchronized. ArrayList increments 50% of the current array size if the number of elements exceeds. So the both this collections it dynamically increase their size. So we have been talking of collections where we are not declaring the initial size. So then how is the compiler managing the size? It is automatically increasing that. So this is what says, it says ArrayList increment 50% of the current array size with the number of elements exists capacity. Like for example, if I say my ArrayList is having 5 elements, and if I add the 6th element, then it will increase 50% of the size, right? So, but vector increments 100%, doubles the array size, total number of elements capacity. So ArrayList is not a legacy class. So it is JDK 1.2, vector is a legacy class. ArrayList is faster because it is non-synchronized, vector is slow because it is synchronized. ArrayList uses iterator interface, a vector can use iterator interface or enumeration interface to traverse the elements. ArrayList performance is high, vector performance is low, multiple threads is allowed, one threads are. So this is the basic difference between the vector and the list. Now this is about vectors, but in the next example we are going to talk about, we are going to really see this into play, what we are talking about here. We'll take a list, we'll take a vector and then we'll calculate the size so that what is advantage and disadvantage, how and when to use vector. So that's it in my this episode. Keep watching. If you like it, subscribe it. Let the next episode we are going to talk in detail about comparison between ArrayList and vector. Thank you.